Workflows are key. If you have a broken workflow and you don't notice it, things are going to pile up. Things aren't going to get paid. You're going to struggle with revenue or expenses, depending on what kind of business you run. You will never have a month where you don't have a workflow to fix. If there's something you've fixed in the past, you may need to fix it down the line, especially if you have new staff. So just really focus on workflows and process. Recognize the start to finish of a client, a patient, whatever. Walk through current state and identify the things you thought were happening but aren't happening anymore so that you can train and fix and repair.
Hey there, I am so excited that you're here with us on the Savvy Doc Show today. Today, I have the pleasure of sitting with Dr. Heather Signorelli. If you are a private practice doc who has been wondering how to optimize your billing, how to basically get paid more for the work you're already doing, you definitely want to listen to my conversation with Dr. Heather. Dr. Heather is the person to know in our physician space when it comes to optimizing your billing as a private practice doc. She gives us tips, techniques, tricks, and just getting to hear her just like a breath of fresh air, because you see that like in medicine, a lot of private equity people are making money off of what we do because they've learned how to do it. Now, how about we as physicians basically learn how to own our stuff, right? I interviewed with Dr. Heather. This was a part of the Multiple Streams of Income Summit that we did. If you'd like to hear about future summits that we host, by the way, this was life-changing stuff. Make sure you click the link down below. You see how to get access to all the replays. It was just amazing. Anyway, I'll see you on the other side. So Dr. Heather is a founder of NatRevMD, where she helps practices basically bill better. She currently runs a team of over 50 people, which I thought was quite impressive. Did I unmute you? And tonight, I'm excited to have her here because I had the pleasure of speaking with her sometime last week, and I was like, this lady is a gem. So guys, help me welcome with some amazing emojis in the comments there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Excited to see you guys all here and kind of just share some wisdom about entrepreneurship and just billing in general. Whatever y'all need.
Amazing, amazing. Now, are there any doctors in the audience right now who run medical practices? If you run a medical practice, type a 7 in the chat. Type a 7 in the chat if you run a medical practice. There we go. Dr. Natasha, Dr. Carola, Dr. Okay. Okay, we have an amazing room today. It's perfect for everyone. Okay, so Dr. Heather, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us who you are, what you do, sort of how you got to the point where you are now helping doctors with billing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually a pathologist by background.
Okay.
And I have been in the admin world, so like the business side of things for over 10 years. Got out of really in residency, in fellowship, was already doing consulting. And so just loved the business side. I run hospitals in my day job. And then for some crazy reason, I think it was just a love of spreadsheets and just seeing a need with some friends of mine, realized that, we could build a better billing company that helped focus education and help focus on teaching docs kind of the principles behind what it takes to run, a medical practice, especially when it comes to billing insurance. There's lots of kind of details you need to know and understand, but then be able to go back high level. So you've got to be able to traverse that. And it's been incredible. I have to say, I think my team, we do have a large team, but we have a lot of physicians that we bill for. So we've been in practice or been open maybe 3.5 years, about 3.5 years this summer, and have several hundred physicians that we bill for now.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Now, you just mentioned you're a pathologist and you just said, I run hospitals in my day job. I just want us to just pause for a second and just acknowledge the greatness in the room, okay? That's
No,
all
I just I'm a glutton for punishment. I don't know. I mean, we built our company. We have built our company to be in the beginning it wasn't, but we have built the other company to be semi, it is run by the team that we have built. And so I am not doing two full-time jobs. I still have babies that I went to the beach with today. And, like I still am able to do the things with regards to motherhood. Now, it wasn't always like that. So, I mean,
okay.
you definitely hustle. We all choose when we hustle, right? There is going to be a moment of hustle. It's just a matter of when and how long.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly hustle in different ways, but I prioritize, just like Jamila, how I want to be with my kids, when I want to be with my kids, and how to make that happen. So, my day job, I oversee about 200 hospital laboratories. And in the beginning was traveling a ton. And now I work from home in beautiful South Carolina and we run our business. And so I would say for those of you that are out there, whether you're running your practice or you're trying to figure out, is there something else you can do? Seriously, you can do anything that you put your mind to. Like this crew here on the phone, we all went to medical school, which is just an amazing thing. But to be able to build the next thing or increase revenue in your current practice, all of it is possible. And I think once you get over that moment, then it's like, oh, okay, I can do this. I can do anything. It's
Hmm.
fine.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So, okay, now let's now kind of piece this apart because you get to see doctors in their worst phases, maybe. You know that for a lot of physicians, once they hear the numbers, right, their eyes glaze over, right? And they're like, take this away from me. I didn't learn this in medical school. This is not differential diagnosis. Somebody do this for me, okay? Now, what transformations have you seen in practices that have worked with you? Let's just kind of paint a picture before and after.
I think the biggest thing I've noticed is in general, I would say billing companies don't go out to do a bad job.
Mhm.
But I think where billing companies struggle and where physician groups struggle is that there isn't this continuity of care or work between the billing company and the practice. You lose
Mm,
communication, you lose the ability to solve problems together, and one starts working in one direction and the other's kind of out on their own. And so my our company's focus is bringing those two together and keeping those two units locked in every step of the way, every single day, every single week. And obviously teaching the metrics, teaching the physicians understand, the big picture about the things you do need to track and the things you do need to, understand. But um where I see things fall apart and where we've helped practices, we've had practices we walked into that had hundreds, 700, 800 rejections sitting there. We
wow.
increased their revenue 30%. And it's a very large OBGYN practice. And they didn't even know what they didn't know. They didn't know that certain adjustments were getting taken off. They didn't know that they were losing money. They didn't know the rejections were sitting there. And the billing company likely just got over their head. It was too much. They didn't have the knowledge. They didn't have the people. They didn't have somebody higher level managing them. And the practice didn't know how to manage them.
Mm,
And so we've tried to meld that to say, okay, how can we educate the office? How can we get the workflows right so that the billing company and the practice are working as one? And we hire damn good folks. I
She
don't
was,
know how else to put it.
I was talking with her last week and she was like, yeah, basically like hiring is our jam. And I was like, never have I heard those two in one in one sentence
Now, y'all,
amongst physicians.
now, y'all, I've had my moments. It's been a learning, but I've had to hire and do a lot of that in my day job. And so those skills kind of transferred over. Now, again, like I said, we have had our moments.
Hmm.
But then you learn how to do it better every single step of the way. And now we have a really good system and we have a really good way to incentivize our staff.
Hmm.
And I will tell you, if you get anything, if you have, regardless of the business you have, learning how to have people alongside you feel like they are owners and part of the team in an incentivized way. People are motivated by money.
Mm,
Just the way it is.
mm, hmm. Okay, so now since we do have actual like practice owners in the
Hmm?
group, what are some things that you will tell a practice owner who is just beginning to wrap their head around the billing, maybe who up to this point has buried their heads in the sand and said, my billing person will take care of it? How can you empower somebody listening right now to say, okay, these are three things that you can do starting today to wrap your fingers around your billing and at least, have a sense of either knowledge or information or pride or even know what questions to ask?
Yeah, and first and foremost, it's very easy to ignore the spreadsheets. I know they're painful. Nobody loves them except for me and maybe a few of you guys, but many people don't. But you've got to find a few things you can track and trend. So that's number one. You've got, and it doesn't need to boil the ocean. Track charges, track receipts, track your AR, track denials, pick three or four things. And if that's too overwhelming in the beginning, pick two or three, add every month, sit down with your billing team, understand what those mean. The other thing I will share that we see folks struggle with is they don't really understand why rejections or you're getting denials, either rejections or denials. And oftentimes it's something that may be being done at the front desk. And
Mm,
so if you don't have a way to constantly identify what those issues are, fix those workflows, retrain and track that, it's easy for those denials to pile up. And then your billing team, regardless of how good they're at, can't dig out.
mm,
And so that has to be, number two, understand why things aren't getting paid.
mm,
And then number three, it's just constant communication with your team, both internal and external. So even if you have internal billers, you've got to be working together with them. Working with your front desk, what processes are stuck? What can I fix? These businesses that we all run, whether that's our billing company or your practice, they are it's workflows are key. If you have a broken workflow and you don't notice it, things are going to pile up. Things aren't going to get paid. You're going to struggle with revenue or expenses depending on, what kind of business you run. Workflows are key. So my three things: know your metrics,
mhm,
track trend, meet with your billing team, understand denials and rejections, and then last, really focus on workflows. Your metrics can guide, what workflows you fix first, but you will never have a month where you don't have a workflow to fix.
mm.
And so if there's something you've fixed in the past, you may need to fix it down the line, especially if you have new staff. So just really focus on workflows and process.
And when you say workflows, what exactly do you mean by workflows? Can you just break
Yeah.
even just the term workflows down?
Yeah. So to me, I'm a pathologist. Workflows is like I live and
It's
breathe
everything.
workflows,
Oh
right?
yeah.
It's every single day. You take the blood of, the tube of blood and you put it on the instrument and yada, yada. For a practice, it oftentimes is really step through, take a patient from start to finish
Hmm.
through every step of your office. What does it look like when they get their, appointment scheduled, when they're giving the insurance, when they are, filling out their financial forms? Walk through what that looks like, both in current state and ideal state, and you'll start to notice the things that aren't working the way you thought or the way that you intended. And so, how that impacts the billing, right? Oftentimes, your billing starts at the front end. And so it's eligibility, it's not getting the right insurance information, it's not troubleshooting eligibility. And so that's a workflow that you need to fix. And so, or if that's, causing rejections and denials, it's a common one for practices. So I guess what I'm saying is recognize, and again, this could be for any of your businesses,
Hmm.
recognize the start to finish of a client, a patient, whatever, walk through current state and identify the things you thought were happening but aren't happening anymore so that you can train and fix and repair.
This is so good. This is so, so good. And I can recognize that it's so good because even though I don't have a private practice right now, you also have to do this even in
All
regular
business,
businesses, right?
all businesses.
Like even just registering for this event, I had to note, how do people register? Are they putting in their name, email, phone number, or just name and email? Because if they don't have these three things, how will I get them to actually show up on Zoom? A few of you said to me this morning, I registered, but I didn't get the email. I had to go back and track. Why didn't they get the email? And I found a little hole that a few people had fallen through. And now it's like it's all interwoven. And I guess that's why, like, once you build the first business, usually you can translate those skills into a brand new business. This is just like just good stuff right here. Okay, so um what pitfalls have you seen, doctors sort of fall into regarding their billing, that you would say, okay, just keep an eye out for these possible landmines?
Eligibility. Eligibility. If y'all can just get eligibility down, I swear, all will be right in the world. So subscriber IDs are wrong. Front desk isn't actually running eligibility before you see the patient and correcting those issues. They may run eligibility, but then they don't actually fix the problem if they see it.
Mhm.
Um, Gosh, if we could just get eligibility solved, everything would be much better, I think, in private practice. And it's a pain in the rear end, and it's not easy, and there's coordination of benefit issues. This is the not easy part. I'm actually interviewing AI companies right now who can build us agents to do this for practices, because it is manual, it is very step by step. But there are smarter ways we can be doing this. There's not a lot of great technologies out today, but this is what we're hoping to implement in the next 6 months is finding the right partner to do this.
You know what's actually crazy? As you were talking, I was like, a few days last week, actually, was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I
Also,
think last week.
also had a conversation with an AI company that helps verify insurance. You like when people call, hold on, let's unmute you again. And because I mean, this is all something that you probably hear eventually, but like at some point, I'm currently in the middle of working on an offer for voice AI assistants and all of that stuff. But in working on that, I've gone down the rabbit hole of like front desks and all of that, and I'm like, this is such an interesting world. But
Yes.
exactly what you just said now, just how do people even just verify that patients can even show up? Because right now it sounds like it's after they've already seen the doctor, then you now figure out that they weren't actually eligible, and then
And then you've lost the money because 9 times out of 10, just depending on the practice you're in, you may not see them frequently enough in order to get the information you need.
yeah.
Just depends on the type of practice, but it's just a pain. It's a pain for everybody. It's a pain for the office. It's a pain for us. So just check your eligibility. If you guys are in private practice, go sit down with your front desk and go, show me how you do eligibility. Let's sit down. Just you
Mm,
show me. You just sit and listen and see what issues that they're struggling with so that you can understand. And I say that even to the owners. I know you guys are busy. I know you're seeing patients. I get it. But the more you understand about some of the major headaches, the better you can incentivize your staff to take control of it.
amazing, amazing. Okay, Dr. Heather, how do people find you?
I will put my our website, and we have a podcast.
Okay.
Our company's name is NatRevMD, so NATREVMD. So natrev.com or natrevmd.com. And we're on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And we have a blog and a billing course. I mean, just all the little things. We even do some front desk education for front desk staff members who are struggling with kind of just getting the whole claims process in general. So just reach out if you need anything, or just listen to our podcast.
Amazing.
Folks find it helpful.
Now, I told you, you always should have a pen and paper because she's going to drop gems. My guests always drop gems, okay? Anyway, if you would like to connect with Dr. Heather or use any of our resources down below, like, for example, access to the Women Physicians with Multiple Streams of Income Facebook group or any of the other Savvy Doc resources for like short-term rentals or even business acquisitions, all of that fancy stuff, be sure to grab our resources down below. And I will see you guys on the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, by the way.